What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another King Films NFL prediction video this week, week 14, and let's get right to it. A very successful week, the best week, according to betting locks, of the entire season here at King Films. We went 5-0 on the betting locks. Let's get right to it. We had Browns +6, and this was the one I was most confident in. Browns +6. I thought it would be close. I thought that the Titans would still win the game, but the Browns went out there, completely dominated, got a bit close in the end, but they were up by multiple scores the entire game. Ran the ball effectively. That was an easy win. Next, we had the Jags at +10.5. This one got a bit dicey later in the game as the Jags blew their lead, but they were able to come back and force overtime. Barely lost to the Vikings, but I just didn't know why the Vikings were that big of a favorite in this one. Easy dub there. And then we had Colts -3.5. This one got very, very sketchy at the end. Texans were on, I believe, the 2-yard line, and it was basically a formality at that point that they were going to score a touchdown. They were down by 6, and then they fumble the ball in the handoff. Colts jump on it. We get saved in the last minute. Colts -3.5 prevails there. Then we had Saints -2.5, which was basically that they would win the game. And this one got dicey at the end as well. It looked like the Saints had the game in the bag. They were up 12 in the fourth quarter, but the Falcons actually made a late comeback. Got it down to 5 points, had a few drives at the end of the game where they could have won it with a touchdown, but the Saints end up winning. And then basically a pick 'em on Monday night, Bills-Niners. I had Bills +1. They're just a much better team than the 49ers at this point. I don't know why Vegas was so high on the Niners before that game when the Bills completely dominated the Niners defense, and that one wasn't very close. So that wraps up the 5-0 betting locks week, one of the best of the season. And then we get onto the game predictions where I went 10-5, not my best week. I mean, obviously there were some big upsets, such as Steelers losing to the football team, the Seahawks losing to the Giants. That was a big upset. So the 10-5 on the NFL game predictions last week brings us to 131, 58-1 on the year. Not getting much better than that. We have prided ourselves on the NFL game predictions this entire season, and ready for another great week this week. And then the betting locks 5-0, as I already mentioned a few times, brings us to 500 on the year. We've been given our chance. Gotta finish above 500 this year in the betting locks after an undefeated week 13. And I think we are poised to do it. So without further ado, let's get on to this week's games. And the Thursday night game, we have the Patriots at the Rams. Give me the Rams here big. I don't think that the Patriots stand much of a chance. I know their offense and especially their special teams absolutely dominated a poorly coached Chargers team last week, which I did not see coming. But you're going against a well-coached team, and this is a team that wants revenge. A couple years ago, this Rams team got clamped down, only put up 3 points in the Super Bowl. They see a weaker team in the Patriots this year, and they need to stomp on the Patriots and get revenge for that game. Jared Goff looked great last week. Rams ran it all over the Cardinals. I think they'll do the same to the Patriots. I'm not sure about Cam Newton's effectiveness in this one, so give me the Rams on Thursday night. Next game, we have the Vikings at the Bucks. And Bucks, after a 2-week rest, very disappointing their last time out against the Rams on that Monday Night Football game. But the Vikings are not good at all, shown by last week's game. Give me the Bucks big here. After a bye week, a lot was said between Bruce Arians and Tom Brady. People are thinking one's got to go, but I think they can salvage this season. I think they can get on a run. They are a much better team than the Vikings this season. Give me the Bucks there. Next game, we have a very interesting one now. You wouldn't have thought it was interesting a couple weeks ago, but Giants on a 4-game win streak, I believe, something around there, and the Cardinals absolutely stumbling. And give me the Giants here. It's a slight upset. I think Daniel Jones is going to play, but even if Colt McCoy plays, I mean, they have a great opportunity. I heard Kyler has a bruised AC joint in his shoulder. That's really the injury he's been dealing with. And if you look at their game against the Rams last week, it was not as close as the score indicated at the end, even though it was like 10 points. It should have been 20-plus points in that one. The Giants absolutely dominated on defense last week against the Seahawks. I think they can pull this one out if Daniel Jones plays and is effective against a bad Cardinals D. Next game, a great early window game. It's the Chiefs and the Dolphins, and give me the Chiefs on the road. I know they've kind of been asleep on the wheel the last few games, haven't won by more than a possession the last 4 games, but give me them here. The Dolphins are a playoff team currently, but I just don't think that Tua is very good. I mean, if the Miami Dolphins want to win this game, their special teams has to make a few plays, which it has made in the past few weeks. Their defense has to get turnovers of some kind, and Tua has to play good. And I just don't know if he can play at an elite level to win this game. Give me the proven team here. Give me the Chiefs. Next game, we have Titans and Jags. Give me the Titans to bounce back in this one. Last week was just a crazy game because it was just the team that could run the ball more effectively, and the Browns did it because the Titans got down early. They couldn't score on their first few drives, and the Browns scored a touchdown or field goal basically every time. So it felt like they were down multiple possessions from the get-go. It didn't help that Derrick Henry fumbled in their own territory, something that he does rarely. I think they're going to take their anger out on this Jaguars team. Give me the Titans big here against the Jags, even though the Jags have been playing a few teams close. Next game, we have 2 terrible teams at this point in the season, both having injured quarterbacks. And this is actually the Andy Dalton revenge game. Give me the Cowboys here. It pains me to pick them. They've looked so abysmal, and they've been on live television, standalone games the last 2 weeks, Thanksgiving and then the Tuesday night game. And they've looked so bad, terrible losses. But the Bengals, I mean, you can't really pick them. Brandon Allen, whoever it is at QB, they might be getting Joe Mixon back, but that really doesn't help the offense too much. And then their defense is terrible. Whereas the Cowboys can look decent. I mean, they actually hung with the Ravens a little bit in the first half, so give me the Cowboys here. But these 2 teams are just terrible at this point. Next game, we have the Texans at the Bears. The Bears have lost 6 straight this year, and nothing makes me think that they're going to win this one. I mean, the get-right game was clearly last week against the Lions. They had everything for them set up to win. Only needed one more first down, and of course they fumbled the ball. Lions scored the touchdown, win the game. Incredible comeback there. Incredible finish. And then the Texans really got screwed on a finish as well. They really, played with the Colts, and it deserved to be a lot closer than it was. They definitely should have punched that in from the 2-yard line, as I already mentioned. I think Deshaun Watson and the Texans are playing great football. Give me the Texans here to win this game. Next game, we have the Panthers hosting the Broncos, another past Super Bowl rematch from a few years ago. And although the Panthers are dealing with some COVID issues, give me them to win this game. The Broncos, really, you can see the quarterback play just isn't there from Drew Lock. I mean, everything was set up to win that game last week against the Chiefs, and they just couldn't do it in the end. Their defense played spectacular in the red zone, and their offense just could not capitalize. So give me the Panthers here. They're also coming off of a bye, just as the Bucs are, so I think that's going to help them in this one. Give me Carolina. Next game, it is the Seahawks hosting the Jets. 2 teams looking to bounce back. Give me the Seahawks at home, where they've been pretty good this entire season, excluding last week. I think last week was an aberration for the Seahawks in that offense. I think this is a get-right game for Russell Wilson. He'll put up a lot of stats against this atrocious Jets defense. Watch out, though. Sam Darnold could have a similar performance that he did against the Raiders, where they actually put up a lot of points. Maybe a surprise shootout, but I don't know. I think the Seahawks will be angry and destined to get this victory. Next game is a very crucial afternoon game for AFC playoff seeding. It's the Colts at the Raiders. Give me the Colts narrowly here, and only for the fact that the Raiders are way too inconsistent, and they've just proven that they are atrocious on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, even in their great games this season, great performances against the Chiefs, their defense did not show up to play. It was just their offense that kept them in those games. So give me the Colts. I think they're a more proven team and a more consistent team. Phillip Rivers played great against the Texans last week, and their defense can match up to the Raiders. I'm not sure if the Raiders will have Josh Jacobs for this one, but regardless, give me the Colts to win that. Next game, we have the football team at the Niners, and give me the Niners. Slight favorites here. I like the Niners to win only from the fact that they need this game if they want any semblance of a chance for the NFC wild card. I know the football team got a surprise victory against the Steelers last week, but I just don't think that they can really move the ball in this Niners defense. I mean, Antonio Gibson dealing with turf toe, that is critical for them. And Alex Smith, I mean, he's fine. He's a game manager, but they need their defense to carry this team. And Nick Mullins is actually playing pretty well for this Niners team. So give me the Niners here, but it is kind of a sketchy pick with how hot the football team has been the last 3 weeks. Next game, we have the Saints at the Eagles, and give me the Saints big here in Lincoln Financial Field. I know the Eagles have Hurts, and that potentially makes them more dangerous. Maybe the team wants to play for Hurts. Maybe there's a new energy within the organization for this game, but I just don't think it'll work on the offensive side of the ball. You're playing one of the best defenses, I would argue the best defense in the Saints, and Taysom Hill actually threw the ball pretty well on the Falcons' defense. The Eagles' defense might be a bit better, but I think he will be productive, and I think the Saints will win this game. Next game, we have the Falcons at the Chargers. And give me the Falcons here. I mean, this is the battle of the teams to choke away leads, so it's hard to predict either team to win, but I think the Falcons have been playing some great football under Raheem Morris. They were very close to the Saints last week. I was not expecting that game to be that close. They're showing clear strides on their defensive side of the ball, and then Matt Ryan and Julio Jones, with a decent running game, are actually doing some things on the ground, or on the offensive side of the ball. So give me the Falcons over the Chargers, who looked totally inept against the Patriots last week. Next game, we have the Packers at the Lions, and give me the Packers big here. The Lions actually can play well against the Packers. In the past years, I think they've upset or played them really close a few times. But the Lions just, I mean, in the games that they have won, they've just beat pretty bad teams, and they've done it in pretty close fashion. They don't match up well against the Packers. Packers will put up 35-plus points in this atrocious Lions. And the Lions' offense just cannot compare, cannot put enough points. So give me the Packers. Next game, we have the Steelers at the Bills, a great Sunday Night Football game. Narrowly give me the Steelers in this one, and merely from the perspective that I think the Bills are being vastly overvalued. I mean, I'm not sure that the Niners are that good of a team, and the Steelers lost to the football team. They really dominated that game from the first half on. It was just Big Ben and that offense looked terrible. I think they will bounce back this week against a Bills defense who isn't elite per se, and I think the Steelers D will bounce back. They won't let Josh Allen do what he wants. So in this one, give me the Steelers, but it could go either way. And then another great night game, the Ravens at the Browns. Give me the Ravens here narrowly. These teams played week 1, and the Ravens won 38-6. I'd just like to remind everybody of that fact. I know the Browns are playing much better football than they were in week 1, but this is a game they need for the playoffs, and I think they look good against the Cowboys. They're going to get even more players back for this one, even more practice time with everyone. And the Browns, I mean, there is an element in the AFC of teams playing good one week and then just absolutely playing terrible the next. I think Lamar Jackson moves the ball at will against this Browns defense, and they win the game. So that brings us to the Best Bets Week 14 edition. And you've got to listen to these because I went 5-0 last week. Don't have 5 cooked up this week, only have 3. And they are all close favorites, so no chance of a backdoor. And so we get on to the first one, which is the Texans at -1 against the Bears. And this one is really just self-explanatory. I don't think there's much of a chance that the Bears can win this game. Mitch Trubisky, I mean, he looked decently effective against the Lions defense. I think the Texans have a slightly better defense than that. But really, I'm picking this game because Deshaun Watson played pretty good against the Colts defense, who is much better than the Bears defense at this point. Deshaun Watson can hurt them with his legs, and also through the passing game. I mean, should have put up way more than 20 points last week against the Colts, and then just cannot play the Bears in this one. They've lost 6 straight. And then the next best bet, we have the Colts at -2.5 against the Raiders. Now, it is a bit risky betting against the Raiders. I know they've looked terrible the last 2 weeks, but if they play well, they can beat anyone. I mean, one of the streakiest teams in the league, but they just have not been playing good football as of late. And I know this is a desperate game for both teams, but give me the superior team. Give me the more consistent team, the Colts. Phillip Rivers, he should play well. They have Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines on the ground, a plethora of weapons, and then their defense, I think, will be able to match up well against the Raiders' offense. Give me the Colts -2.5. And that brings us to the final best bet for the week. I'm taking the Ravens -1 against the Browns. And I know everyone wants to pick the Browns. The Browns are the hot team after their great win against the Titans. But Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to have a great game. That offense looked absolutely tremendous against the Cowboys. And I know the Browns might have a better defense. But the Ravens have had the Browns' number the last few years. So give me the Ravens in this one. It's going to be close, but give me the Ravens in a close game here. I hope you like the picks, and please tune in again next week. Thank you for watching.